lived here for 32 years. When we first moved here, the yard was just pure grass. There was not a blade of anything else. And since then, we've switched around, so we now have no grass, and it's all shrubs and plants. It's a 50 by 180 city lot. And here's another winter view. There's a little hoop house. And just PVC pipes bent and anchored in the ground with rebar, and then covered with plastic sheeting. And there's greens growing in here throughout the winter, just keep up insulation on there. And it gets obviously it gets pretty cold, but the greens will grow all through the winter.
What kind of
with no addition?
And
Sorry.
These are some support things that we've gotten from Building Value porch supports that we just kind of converted into plant supports. So a lot of our stuff is kind of recycled, reused. This seems like longer than 20. All right, here's a view of the house from right now. We just had a metal roof put on, and the metal roof. Hey Dan, are you going to help me out? Oh sweet, come on over. Metal roof. We were able to put that over 2 layers of shingles, so we didn't have to do a tear down. So that saves some landfill space. The roof's good for like 50 years, so it's really a good, I think, a good investment. We have some carrots growing here under leaf mulch, and they're doing great. This is just a recent. This is now we're moved from winter to summer, so a lot of different plants. We try to keep them mostly native plants, but obviously this is Mexican sunflowers. That's not a native plant, but there's a lot of flowers. We try to keep it semi-attractive because when we're mixing vegetables with flowers, it has to be somewhat aesthetic. So this is the other view of this. There's native things like oak leaf hydrangea, and there's some phlox. And then there's kale down here and some green beans over here. So we try to make it look okay. Otherwise, we're going to get grief from the neighbors. This is pole beans growing up on that those porch supports. You can see the beans right in here. And this is my son Friemoth saying, "Let's get the hell out of here. This bean's going to attack us." And then some of the features we have on the house is that the south roof of our house drains down into this 500-gallon tank that we got from Tractor Supply. And then when it overflows, it runs down into another corrugated pipe that runs underground to a pond that's a little further down in our backyard. This is the pond. And so the pipe goes underground, and then when the tank gets full, it overflows and then fills the pond up. And in times of pretty heavy rains, then the pond will overflow, and then the next section back is a bog garden that's got hibiscus and arrowheads and cardinal flowers and that kind of stuff. And then beyond the bog, if that starts to overflow, it's a regular garden. One of my kids put this attached kind of greenhouse on the south side of our house a few years ago, and it's a southern-facing glass exposure. We have about 200 gallons of water inside to keep as a heat sink, so during the day the sun strikes that, warms it up, then it releases that heat back into the air at night. Movable insulation to keep everything covered at night. And here's Mary starting to grow some, I think, broccoli or cabbage or something like that. And here she's just overwintering a lot of plants. It stays pretty warm. And then a few years ago we put this solar panel up. It's a 2 megawatt system. And they put it up on a post because our roof wasn't situated correctly to allow enough solar gain. And there's blackberries and raspberry vines and kiwi, that kind of thing. This is a winter shot, obviously.
Yep, kiwi.
This is a little bit further west of that greenhouse. These are called taps, thermo-siphoning air panels. They're just a real simple thing that Mary about killed me when I drilled holes through her house because there's an air inlet in the bottom, and then the sun strikes this corrugated metal, and then it heats it up, and then the warm air comes out into the house. So the air in the winter gets to be about 130 degrees coming out of that. In the summer, we just close the registers off so that nothing happens. This is just a concrete sink, recycled, and this is my son put a solar water preheater. So city water comes in, sun hits this black old water heater, and then brings it warmed water back into the house. These are window coverings that Mary made. They're I think she put polyfill on both sides of a mylar sheet, and it's really toasty warm. It really insulates the house. So this is, again, it's a southern exposure. One of the registers for that tap is right up here. And so during the day we keep these up. A lot of solar comes in, heats everything up.
And that's our chicken pen. My mom likes chickens, and we raise them for eggs and everything. That we always make eggs sometimes out of
we eat a lot of eggs, don't we?
Yeah, like we eat eggs, we eat bacon with it, like grilled cheese. And there's our chicken.
Yeah, we just took an old plastic doghouse, and that's where they love to be in the winter. We have a CFL bulb in there, provides just a little bit of heat, but they're out of the elements. They roost together, they stay warm. And then here's a couple of the gals just having a little chat, it looks like. The white one kind of has her feathers up. But Mary holds these, takes them in the house, and she's kind of kooky. But
There's our sign.
there's a sign, wildlife habitat, you can send off, and it's just certified that your house has the 4 elements that for wildlife, food, water, cover, and places to raise the young. So had that for a few years. I think trying to make it look more stable or something for the neighbors.
My mom likes to grow flowers.
Yeah, so a little eye candy here for the dead of winter. So what are they? Bleeding hearts, passion flower, and
Something purple.
trumpet vine. Thank you, which is really invasive, but it's so nice to. It really is a good hummingbird attractor. Yeah. So, and then this is some of the views of the backyard. Where it's a nice kind of coming down where the real tall trees, and then shrubs, and then finally down to the water thing here. And birds love that. They bathe in that and they drink it, and they feel safe that way when it's kind of this V environment for them. And then here's just a bunch of plants. You can't really see them that well, but there's beans and squash, and then a bunch of varieties of sunflowers. And then here's some. Go ahead.
My mom likes to grow green beans and tomato sauce.
We put up about 100 cans, or
100
jars, I guess you
cans,
call them, this summer.
Jars this summer.
Dan was a good helper for that.
Yeah.
So a lot of green beans and tomatoes put up on the shelves.
And there's my little brother Cream, and that's my
Here's
sister
Michaela sitting out here. And there's some of the sweet potatoes. We had just 6 little vines of sweet potatoes that produced 60 pounds of sweet potatoes in our front yard. The sweet potato vines are really pretty attractive, and Michaela's saying, "Please get away from me." And then finally, this is our latest addition to the backyard. It's a double-story outhouse with politicians on the top and voters on the bottom. We can't recycle that stuff. We do the chicken.
So good. Oh my God.
Questions?